Yeah, very good morning to one and all. Namaste. Thank you for joining this session. So I thank Concern Living for giving me this opportunity to present my knowledge about stress management through yoga. So before starting the session, if you have any questions, like personal questions, you can ask or you can type in through the chat box so that you can get the guidance. In the meanwhile, some attendees may get joined. So if you have any personal queries or something you want to know about stress management, you can ask either by unmuting or raising your hand, or you can type your question in the chat box. So Harshita, you have typed about the questions. You can type in the questions there. Whereas I've typed good morning, thank you for the joining in the chat box. There you can see that is for general chat box. If you have specific questions, you can use the questions toolbox here and you can type it so that I can see the questions and answer them. I can answer it privately or I can send it to all. So it depends on what type of question you ask. If it is privately for you, I can answer it privately. If it is useful for everyone, I can answer it public as well. So well, we'll start our session now. Again, I got one question. Okay, I'll just check about it, Harshita, about the chart thing. I guess the chart is for me only. So if you have questions, you can use the questions toolbox and write the questions there. Yeah, and you can type the questions at the end also. If you want to get the answer in the middle also, you can type, because I can see them and I can answer them at the end using this question box. So that would be helpful. But still, if you feel that your question is important at that point or at that juncture, you can raise your hand so that I can get notice, and I'll unmute so that you can ask question directly, or if you don't want to ask, you can either type it as well. So whichever thing you want, you can utilize them. Okay. I hope I'm clear for your questions. So let us start the session now. It's already 10 past 10. So first we're going to talk about stress management. Stress is an integral part of our life. So we cannot go without stress. So the important thing is how you should manage your stress so that you can be optimum in your performance, optimum in your relationships, and also in whatever task you do, you will be successful. So there are many techniques for stress management, but out of those, we'll talk about how yoga helps in managing the stress. So before that, in this session, we're going to talk more about the physiology of stress. What is stress? When you understand what is stress, then only you can counter it by using different techniques. But whereas if you don't know the rules of the games, you can't go and play the game, right? So exactly for this also the same thing applies. So you need to know what is stress, what are the things which causes stress, and how you can overcome those things, how you can manage those things. Those are called stressors. So that you can manage your stress. That is the main agenda for today's session. So the topics are briefly described here. So first we'll go with the definition of stress, the standard definition, and then what are the sources of stress. There might be different sources such as physical, psychological, environmental, excuse me. And then there are types of stress. There are eustress and distress. And then after knowing about the stress, how stress will affect our body. First, we're going to talk about nervous system, because that is where the entire signals and everything processes takes place. So knowing about nervous system is important. And I'm not going to go deep into those things. I'm not going to use more of the technical things, so don't worry about it. I'm going to go into basic things only, so that you'll have an idea about how the stress functions and how we can get affected, so that we can also make plans for minimizing our stress, so that we can go away from stresses like that. Okay. And the next, health risk associated with, sorry, I forgot about effects of stress on immune system. Again, this is also very important, because we are in the middle of the pandemic, COVID-19. So how this is a stressful situation for each and every one of us. So how being stressful during this pandemic will deplete our immune system. So if you're worrying about coronavirus and all, this will hamper your immune system and makes your immune system weak. Hence, you will be more susceptible for any viruses, irrespective of COVID. So at this juncture, it is very, very important to make yourself resilient to stress. So I'll talk about how immune system changes on encountering the stress. Next, I'll talk about health risk associated with chronic stress. So stress, if it lasts for more time, then what are the health effects we're gonna have? Which are the parts in our system is gonna get affected because of stress? We'll discuss this. And also stress has major impact on our psychological health. So stress and major psychiatric disorders we're gonna see. We're gonna see those briefly, not going to dwell into deep into them, but just brief psychological disorders. And then stress management through yoga. So how yoga helps in counteracting the stress, how yoga helps in managing your stress, those things will share, I'll share. And then tomorrow's session, we'll do a practical session. Tomorrow's session is at evening, 6 to 7. Please do attend it, so that you can experience the positive thing by performing some of the asanas, pranayama, meditation. By doing these things, how performing yoga helps in enhancing your management of stress. Okay, and last, at the end of the session, we'll perform a little 5 minutes of simple meditation technique. It's more of a breathing technique where it helps you to make yourself stabilized so that you can be ready and resilient to any kind of stresses. Okay, I hope today's topics are clear. So I'll move ahead now. So first we'll go about the definition of stress. So what is stress? We all say stress. I'm feeling stressed today. Oh no, it is very stressful today. I'm having very stressful things, or I have very stressful day today at work. So we say stress, stress, stress more frequently in our day-to-day language. But what is stress according to scientific knowledge? So that can be defined as stress is anything, any demand that is placed on the body. The demand can be both internal and external as well. So any demand placed on the body is called stress. Okay. So that is what it is. Stress can be defined as the response of the body to any demand placed on it. So if you have any demand placed on you, like for example, if in your work environment you have been assigned a very humongous task, so that is a demand placed on it, and how you respond to it will define your stress. If you think, okay, I can manage it, I can do it this work efficiently and effectively, then it will not have a big impact on you. But whereas if you feel that, oh God, I got so much of work now, how can I go to my house quickly? Or how can I take care of my children? Or what about my party today evening? So these all things come and make bombarded with your brain, then you cannot perform well. So that is called stress. So the main important definition of stress is response of the body to any demand placed on it. That is called stress. I hope the definition is clear. Next. So what is stress? How the demand, what is the demand placed on it? It can be anything external demand or it could be internal demand. So what is external demand? Like I have discussed earlier, something your boss has given you some work to do for today. You should complete it by today evening. But the task is very huge. It takes a lot of time. That is an external demand. Whereas internal demand is if you are suffering with flu, or if you're suffering with any disease, our internal body is getting pressure because they need to work more to throw out the virus or disease. So hence, you have both external demand and internal demand as well. There are still many of those things, psychological, physical, environmental, philosophical as well. We'll see them when we go forward. So this is just a brief description of what is stress. Next, for the external thing, I'll give an example as loud noise. So forget about Diwali. If it is not Diwali, if you heard a loud noise outside, you might feel that something wrong has happened, or like you feel that there is some earthquake, or there is someone who have entered into my house. So some kind of stress you may feel. Whereas internal stress is the illness, any kind of illness like flu, disease, or simple headache will also cause you stress. Yes or no? I hope I'm clear. And also, that is why during the Diwali and all, I just want to give you a simple request to you that do not use the crackers which produce a lot of sound, because it not only gives us the stress, but it gives the animals a lot of stress, because we know that today's Diwali, hence they are making the noise. But poor animals don't know about it, right? The stray dogs, the birds, they don't know about those things. So they get terrified by listening to the noises. So hence, that is my humble request to celebration of festival is important, but we should minimize the use of those crackers which produce humongous sound. So that is my humble request to each and every one of you. So next, stress affects individuals differently. based on how they perceive it. That is what I've told you earlier as well. So for one person, the work might be very interesting, hence he may not feel stressful. Whereas for the other person, it is not interesting, boring, hence he may feel stressful. And another example I want to give you is, for example, a student who is new to the college environment. He just passed intermediate and went to the engineering college and got failed in his first semester examination. So one person may feel that this is my end of my life. I never failed in my entire life. I failed in engineering. Whereas other person may feel that it's okay. Many persons have failed in this examination. So this is a tough exam. So I need to prepare well for further examinations. So that is how some people perceive that stress. That is failing the examination. Whereas other people will take that, no, I am waste. I could not pass this examination, the first semester examination. So how can I complete my engineering? I may drop out. I may bring disgrace to my family. So other people think like that. So that is one people is thinking in optimistic manner, whereas other people is thinking in pessimistic manner. Hence, optimism is very, very important factor for resilience of stress. Okay. I hope I'm clear with the basic definition of stress and how stress affects each person differently. So everyone are unique. Everyone's situation in their life is unique. Hence, no two person will have same stressors in their life. So we'll go for the sources of stress. So what are the sources of stress which causes the stress? That is important. So now we have learned about the definition of stress, but what are the things which causes stress? That is also important. So we'll see them. So stressor is a stimulus. It's just like a stimulus which trigger flight or fight mode. So the flight or fight mode is something where we'll get either panic or we'll fight about the situation. So that is the thing. So which are the things which causes this fight or flight mode are called stressors. So stressors can be classified as the following things. The first one is biological and environmental. So biological means it can be illness like toxins, viruses, or bacterial infections, anything. So these all constitute under biological things. Whereas environmental things consider as noise, heat. If it is too heat outside, we can't go out. Yes or no? It causes a huge stress. Whereas if you are listening to loud noise continuously, again you can't function optimally. Yes or no? Because the stress, that noise will hamper your peace and tranquility, and hence you cannot perform optimally. Whereas toxins or anything, infections, whichever thing you take, if they enter into your body, you cannot again function properly. You need to take proper rest, take good diet, take medications so that you can overcome your disease. So these are the biological environmental sources of stress. I'm only mentioning the few. There are many stresses and each stresses are unique to each individual. Okay. And it is also based on the genetics environmental as well. Second one is psychological. Psychological means threat to self-esteem. So for example, if you are a student where teacher says that you are fit for nothing, where they're directly targeting your self-esteem, they're making you feel bad about yourself. Those are all psychological things where again you feel so bad, you feel humiliated. That too not about saying that you're bad, but she has scolded me in front of all my friends. So that is a great humiliation for me, where they'll think so much about that only one small thing, where the thought processes goes into n number of processes, and he goes into either sad mood or into very, very pessimistic mood. Second thing is, we might have experienced bullying. In schools, generally bullying takes place. So that also makes a great havoc to the psychological health. People feel worthless. So we should avoid those things. As a responsible citizens or human beings, we should not bully anyone. We should not affect their self-esteem or self-confidence. Instead, we should try to promote their self-confidence so that we can have a better society, we can have better bonding as a colleagues, as a friend, or as a unity or as a community as well. So psychological comes under these things. So these are just basic things only I'm going through. There are still n number of things where if you want to talk about psychological, only psychological only. Whereas if you go to sociological things, unemployment, it causes a huge stress because being unemployed is perceived very bad in society. For your relationships, it hampers. You cannot meet the demands for the day-to-day life. If you are in a family, you cannot satisfy their needs, basic needs. So hence, unemployment is a major sociological stress. And then social isolation. If you look at the villages where the people, the head of the villages will make some of the people who do mistakes, they make them social isolated, where no one should talk to them, no one should sell them any goods, etc. Those kind of social isolations are also very humiliating because they create a huge amount of stress on the sufferer who is being isolated. So these are some of the sociological stressors. Last one and very important thing is philosophical stressor. At any point of life, we might have thought that why am I living? What is my purpose in life? So am I doing it correct? Why I choose this engineering? Or why am I doing this? Is it because my parents want me to study this? Or why? We have a number of questions regarding this philosophical question. The most important thing is purpose. We all lack purpose in our life. We don't know. We are just running, going behind money, fame, education, or whatever it is. But we don't know why we are doing it. Only few people have their purpose, who realize their purpose in life and they work on their purpose. But majority of people do not have any idea about purpose. So this causes a stress. When you're doing something, when you join an engineering college, you don't know why you've joined. So it will have stress. Why I'm doing this? So why I'm studying this? Or you might have other goal about, like you want to do some thing like BSc or BA or something, but your parents forced you to join in engineering. So you're confused about goals, or you have choices. Like you are so good at studies, you wrote MPC and BPC both. You got into IITs and you got into medical college. Now you're confused. Which one I should choose? So that is also some source of stress. Even though that is a positive thing, but still it causes you a stress. Okay. So apart from these, in our daily life, there are some hazards in our daily life. So those also constitutes a primary source of stress. So for example, some of the daily hazards can be our daily commute to the offices where we face traffic jams, or when you're just out for important meeting, your tire gets burst. So those are the daily hassles which also adds to the stress. So I hope I'm clear for what is the stress and what are the sources of stress. So if you have any doubts, you can ask. You can raise your hand. There is a raise hand button. If you raise your hand, I'll get to know that we have some questions and I'll stop. Or you can type in your questions and I'll see them. Okay? Fine then, moving forward. So what are the types of stresses? So now we have seen what is stress, what are the sources of stress. Now we'll see types of stresses. There are two types of stresses mainly called eustress and distress. So eustress is something positive stress which helps you to enhance your life better or take the challenge better. Whereas distress is just a burnout phase where you cannot take anything more. Hence you'll start getting negative emotions and negativity. So first we'll see about eustress. So before I'll ask you all, does all stress is bad for you? Because in our day-to-day life, we feel that I am stressful today. You should avoid your stress. Doctors or anyone, they say that you should avoid stress. You should manage your stress. So is stress bad for you? So will any one of you answer yes or no? Is stress bad for you? Yes. So is stress really bad for you? So does all stress are bad for you? The answer would be no. Yes, some kind of stress is bad for you, but not all stress are bad for you. So that we'll discuss now. The first thing is we have two types of stresses. One is eustress, which is a positive stress, which is required for us. For example, I want to give you an example. There are no examinations in the world. Then people don't study. When you have examination, okay, I need to go for examination, I need to pass my examination. So that will enhance or enable the person to study well and write the exam well. So that is called eustress, the positive stress, which gives you the push to do anything. So, yeah, so this kind of stress is important. So this kind of stress is not bad for you actually. This is good. For example, if you take in cricket, Mahendra Singh Dhoni takes back to the last hour to finish the game. Yes or no? He takes to the in T20's 19th over or in 50 overs till 49th over or 50th over to finish the games. So why? That is his positive stress. He feels comfortable there where he can deliver his optimum performance. So that is not stress for him. Whereas if you consider the same situation to other person, any other cricketer who is not as efficient as Dhoni, they may feel so much stress and they could not perform well. So that is the difference between eustress and distress. For one, it can be positive stress. For others, it can be distress stress. So we'll now define the stress as eustress and distress. Eustress meaning the positive stress, whereas distress meaning the negative stress. So eustress or the positive stress has some of the following characteristics. We'll take those things. The first thing is it motivates and focuses energies. So you need motivation. Yes or no? For doing any task, you need motivation. So as I've taken the example of examination, so for the examination, you need motivation to study and focus your entire concentration energy on that one thing. Tomorrow I have exam, I need to study today. So your all energies would be on studying. So you may eat less or you may sleep less. So irrespective of those things, these things motivates to better you for tomorrow's examination. Okay, that is called positive stress. So next thing is it is a short term. Once the exam is over, again you'll chill. You go for any vacation or you just relax yourself. You go for movies. You enjoy with your friends. So the stress wanes away. So it is just for short term. So any kind of eustress is a short term. For example, cricket, when he finishes the game, either he wins or loses, it is over. The stress ends there. It doesn't carry forward to you. Hence, it is a short term stress. And also, it is perceived within our coping abilities. Like once the stress is over, you go for relax, you go for vacation, you chill out with your friends. So, those are the coping abilities, which helps us to cope to those eustress. And then also it feels exciting. So some of the eustress could be like you are going for an adventure, you're going for a bungee jump, so you feel adventurous, yes or no? So the feeling of excitement kicks in. So even though your heart rate pumps up, you feel excited, that doesn't mean you're not enjoying, right? You are exciting, you're looking forward for those challenges. So that also comes under eustress. I hope I'm clear. And also it helps in improving the performance. Just like I've told you about the examination, when you feel, yes, I need to do well and you study well, obviously you're going to write your exam well and get good marks. Yes or no? So that is the simple logic for this. So these are the characteristics of eustress. Now coming to the distress. There is another thing called distress. That is the negative stress, which we don't want. For example, you might be in a situation where you are sitting with your relatives and all, where they're discussing about your result and marks. That is a distress for you. So you don't want to stay there. That is one of the shortest example. Whereas there are some long-term examples of distress as well. So the first thing is it causes anxiety and or concern. The thing is you might be feeling cold and cough. for example, at this moment, and you may feel that is COVID. That is a distressing situation. You might feel anxious that, oh my God, did I catch COVID anywhere? Or what if I may transmit this disease to others? So those are called anxieties. This can be both short term and long term as well. One second, I got a question. Is there any limit or boundary for stress? Yes, there is a limit and boundary for stress, and it depends on individuals as well. That is what I'm telling. The positive stress or eustress is a short-term stress, which is for hours or for a minimum of days, whereas the distress can be within seconds also, or it can take a number of months also. So when we go forward in one of the slides, I'll show you with the graph how there are some boundaries for the stress. I hope I answered your questions, Sundeep. So yes, now stress can be, it causes anxiety. I've done that. Next, it can be short term or long term. So the short term is when you go for test, COVID test, you feel that when test results comes that you don't have COVID, then there will be no stress. Yes or no? Whereas other things, it can be a work related thing where you need to submit your deadline and you cannot able to do it. And then the boss, what he may think, what my colleagues may think about me as a working person, what they may feel me as inefficient. So those kind of things could be long term. Understand? So, and it can be perceived based on our coping abilities as well. So for the one person, he may feel that, okay, it is okay. I could not do it today, or I could not get good marks in this semester. I'll study well and do it in the next semester. Whereas some people may take it in a negative manner. Oh, this is simple examination where I could not pass. How can I do well in the further examinations? So it also depends on how you cope for the situation. And also distress makes you feel unpleasant. It can be physical also. The distress might be if someone is honking horn at you, it feels unpleasant, disturbing. Loud noises causes disturbances, yes or no? And also decreases your performances. Because once you think about other things, when you're not focusing on your work at present and thinking about other things, obviously your performance get depleted. And if you have this distress over a long term, that is also called as chronic stress, it leads to variety of physical and mental problems. Okay, I hope I'm clear. We'll go for next slide. So what is stress and how it is evolved in our humans, especially in the human brain? We're going to see this briefly. So once when you rewind and go back to the Stone Age, there humans used to do mostly 2 to 3 things. That's it. They used to go for hunting in groups. They used to hunt. They used to eat, and they used to sleep. That is their day-to-day routine. They go for hunting. They go in groups and they protect themselves. Third, they relax. That is what the Stone Age humans used to do. So hence they require flight or fight response. So once when you encountered a tiger or lion, either they need to flee away or they need to fight to save themselves from the danger. So that is the biological response to the stressor. Here the stressor is tiger. So the tiger is coming. So either you need to flee away or you need to fight the tiger so that you will survive. So survival is the key during Stone Age. Since our brains are evolved like that, but unfortunately our brains are still, the survival system has been still remained same for present day also. So hence we may feel that if someone humiliates you, it will not hurt, it will not kill you, right? But the same physiological reactions takes place in your brain, which is either to fight or to flight. So hence a number of emotions pop up. So we'll see that also now. So first, Stone Age people main job is to hunt and protect the tribe, hence fight and fight is crucial for their survival. Next, whereas modern humans, we don't have to deal with those things, right? We are living in urban societies, so we don't have to deal with tigers, lions, or we don't need to go and hunt animals for food. We get food through agriculture, so everything is stable now. But unfortunately, we perceive threats as something dangerous to our survival. That is, it may take our lives. Hence, fight or flight response kicks in into our body. It can be a short-term stress, like if someone is humiliating or bullying you, or if it can be related to workplace stress, or it can be a presentation where you want to present in front of a huge audience. So, any kind of thing you are doing, the body perceives any kind of stress you perceive, the brain perceive it as a survival threat. Hence, it starts pumping out hormones into the bloodstreams, and also it raises our heart rate, etc. We'll see in the further slides those things. So yeah, Sandeep, you have asked about the optimum level of stress, etc. Right? What are the boundaries of stress? So now we are discussing about the performance and stress. So first, in the x-axis, if you see, we have pressure or stress. In y-axis, we have performance. So when your stress is low, you don't perform well. That is what we have seen regarding the examination. When there are no examinations, you don't feel stressed. So right now the examinations are cancelled for 10th class students in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana government. So people don't study. Why would they study? Because there's no exam. Why should I study? So they will not study now. Whereas if there are exams from June some 15th onwards or July 15th onwards, then they feel anxiety, and they start studying. That is optimum level of stress. So you can see where the optimum level of stress is there. There you can have peak performances. That is, you can study well or you can do well when you have a task at your hand. You're working professional. You need to submit your project by this deadline. So you will start working more. Okay, this is the time I need to work more. I need to submit my assignment. So I should do well. So all other things you put aside and you focus entirely on the task present for you, and you start working on them. Hence the performance peaks. Whereas if that stress is prolongated through an extended period of time, like for months or years, then it leads to high stress, anxiety, which we also call as chronic stress, where burnout takes place. You cannot take stress anymore. Hence, psychosomatic disorders takes place. You feel unhappy, you feel dejected. So those are the things which happen when stress happens to a long period of time. That is also called as chronic stress. Okay, I hope I answered your query. And if you have any doubts, you can also ask the query regarding this stress and performance, and also regarding the previous slides as well. So can I go ahead now? So yes, so we'll talk a little bit about our nervous system. We have nervous system. Our nervous system consists of central nervous system, peripheral nervous system. In fact, to be brief, I'm telling this, you have more as well. You have brain, spinal cord, etc. Those consists of one thing, and then that is central nervous system, whereas peripheral nervous system consists of somatic nervous system, autonomic nervous system. And then the autonomic nervous system is further divided into sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. And you should pay very attention from this slide onwards, because this is where the actual amount of physiological happening to the stress happens here. So I'm again repeating to you, the nervous system consists of central nervous system, peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system is just like a CPU. It consists of brain and spinal cord. Whereas peripheral nervous system consists of spinal nerves and cranial nerves. So the nerves which are originating in spinal cord and then also goes into other parts are called cranial nerves. So the peripheral nervous system is again divided into two types: somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system. Somatic nervous system is, for example, I am thirsty. I have water in front of me in a bottle. So I'll take the bottle, I'll open the cap, I'll drink. So this is somatic. That is, you do it voluntarily. That is, with your brain perceives that there is a water because you are thirsty. Take the water and drink. Your brain signals to your hands. It goes through your spinal cord, and your hand picks up the bottle. You drink and you quench your thirst. Okay, that is somatic system. That is not important to us now. Whereas autonomic nervous system is very important regarding the stress. Autonomic nervous system is a system which does involuntary works. That is, you don't make your heart beat, right? You don't make your digestion work. So those things occur involuntarily. If you want to stop your digestion, you can't stop. If you want to stop your heart, can you stop? No. Those are not in your control. Those are under control of your autonomic nervous system, which functions for the optimal performance of each and every organ in your body. So again, the autonomic nervous system is divided into two types: sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So sympathetic means you can just remember it easily. So once when you are in danger, fight or flight system kicks in through autonomic nervous system. So your body is in danger. So the nervous system feels sympathetic towards you, and hence sympathetic nervous system kicks in. So it makes your body ready for either fight or to flight. Okay. Whereas parasympathetic nervous system is opposite. That is, you need to balance it. Once your body is ready either to fight or to flight, that is, everything faster takes place. Heart rate is faster, your eyes started looking magnifyingly so that if there is any threat you can escape. So those things happen. Whereas parasympathetic nervous system helps you to cool down. It is the opposite function. Hence, rest is very important part. In order you to be free from stress, or in order to manage your stress, rest. Only during your rest period, parasympathetic nervous system comes and does their duty. Okay, so this is the brief thing about nervous system. So if you have any doubt, you ask. This is very important slide. I'm again stressing because by this slide only we're going to go and work on how to improve our parasympathetic nervous system functioning through yoga. So if you have any questions, you can type in. I hope I'm clear. Can I move forward? Okay. So yeah, this is sympathetic and parasympathetic. I'll just give you a brief description as we are running short of time. So first thing is the sympathetic nervous system is helps us enabling in fight or flight situation so that we can survive, escape from threat either by fleeing away or fighting the threat and surviving. So the first thing is it dilates pupils. That is, it makes our eyes wider. That is, our pupil will able to see more clearly. So that if there is any opportunity to escape, so that we can escape. Inhibits saliva. So that saliva is majorly used for production for your digestive system. So digestion is not important now. Your heart accelerates, your heartbeat increases because your heart need to pump blood to your brain and to your muscles, so that either you need to fight, you need to have energy, or if you need to flee, you need to have your energy. Your lungs, you will have deep shallow breathing. You will feel like this because you are stressed, you are in stressful situation. And also coming to stomach, your stomach inhibits digestion. Stomach produces more and more acid, HCl produces. And coming to kidneys, kidneys have a cap-like structure called adrenal glands, where they produce adrenaline and non-adrenaline, which kicks in the fight or flight system. Okay, and next, intestines. The intestine stops doing that peristalsis, that is the churning where the digestion takes place. It stops the digestion. Forget about the digestion. First you live. If you live, only the digestion etc. is required, right? If you are not going to live, these are not going to function. And relaxes the bladder. So these are the things sympathetic nervous systems does. So I'll give you a small example. You are in a restaurant, had a plenty of meal. You went for a buffet, you had a great meal, and suddenly you have given your card details and pin number etc. and suddenly fire alarm breaks. So what would be your initial reaction? Oh, I had a great meal, let me relax for some time. Would you be doing that? No, right? You'll start running like Usain Bolt, or you start trying to help small children or elderly people, or you start putting this fire down using the carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide etc., using the gas filters etc. So those are the things that happens even though you are fully eaten, and you're fully eaten, like till your neck you've eaten everything. Generally, if that happens in a normal situation, you go into sleep or you feel very lethargic, yes or no? Whereas in while you are perceiving the threat to your survival, so digestion, everything stops. The only thing for you is to survive, survive, survive. You need to survive now. Hence, sympathetic nervous system kicks in and it makes you to decide what you need to do. Whereas on the contrary, if you look at the parasympathetic nervous system, it stimulates salivary glands. It slows your heartbeat. It constricts your bronchials. It stimulates digestion. So it also helps in intestines performing those activities like peristalsis, etc., and contracts bladder. So parasympathetic nervous system is very important. So if sympathetic nervous system is important for survival, when if you perceive threat like that of fire alarm, etc. Whereas if you feel a threat of humiliation, or if your teacher is scolding you, if your boss is scolding you, or if some person is mocking at you, there's no threat to your survival, yes or no? But the same thing which happens to your survival is at stake. That things happens when you are facing the humiliation, or when you go to a stage, start speaking in front of others, then you feel the same kind of sympathetic nervous system kicks in, and that's why you'll have all the shiverings etc. Your voice gets troubled. You might prepare well for the speech, but you may not perform it well. That is due to the sympathetic nervous system where it is overactivating. So this is how sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system works, and our duty is to enhance parasympathetic nervous system so that we can have better stress management strategies. Okay, next we're going to talk about is how stress affects our immune system. This is very important because we're going through COVID-19 pandemic. So the immune system is the collection of billions of cells which travel in your bloodstream. This is just like our soldiers in our border, where if some external threat comes in, they start fighting with it. Yes or no? Similarly, our white blood cells in our body are like policemen or like soldiers. They start attacking if pathogens like virus, bacteria, etc. comes in our body. They start attacking and they clear them. So hence, improving your immunity is vital for any kind of virus, bacteria, including COVID-19. Okay. So the next thing, as I already told you, they're also known as white blood cells, WBC we call in a short form. Next, so when we are stressed continuously, the immune system ability to fight off antigens is the pathogens, which are virus, bacteria, etc., which are the foreign body which enters into our system, is reduced. So that is why we are more susceptible to infections. So feel that when you are stressed too much, there's also an experiment that has happened where people who are stressed are more susceptible to viral infections, flus, intestinal infections, etc., compared to the people who are resilient to stress. So hence, resilient to stress is very important for our health and well-being. Next, so the relation between stress and illness is not a simple one. It is a complex one because there is a connection between endocrine system and our immune system. Our endocrine system is called ductless gland, where we have pituitary gland, we have thyroid gland, and we have pancreas. We have adrenal glands, which I've told you earlier, adrenal glands which secretes adrenaline and non-adrenaline, which helps in kicking in fight or fight response. And also we have testes and ovaries for male and female. So there is a relationship between endocrine and immune system. They are interrelated. So once there is a disruption in this endocrine system, so the immune system functioning also despairs. So that's why when some people are suffering with thyroid, their immune system would be somewhat low. They will be more susceptible to diseases. So you should make sure that your endocrine system, your every system in your body is optimally functioning, so that your health is at your hands. So next is just a symbolical representation. When stress is more, it increases heart rate, thus it increases your blood pressure. It impacts your stress hormone called cortisol. So the cortisol, when it is produced overly, it suppresses your immune system. Okay, so when suppressing your immune system, it causes you or it makes you more prone to diseases, irrespective of small or big. And also disturbance of digestive system takes place. So what digestion is important. You may take very good nutritious food, but if your digestion is not good, if those nutrients are not absorbed through your intestine, then there's no use, because those nutrients are not going into your body, there's not going into your bloodstream, so your body again goes into disease state. So hence, managing your stress is very important. Even though some people may feel that I'm taking very good meals, like nutritious food, I'm exercising, but yet I'm having so many diseases. Why? Because they're suffering from stress. The root cause you need to identify, target, and try to manage it, and hence you can improve your health consequently. So stress and immune functions. So yes, initially the stress is important, as we have already told. Internal stress, when you are suffering with fever, your immune system kicks in, hence you get the fever, you'll get the body temperature. So those at that temperature, this all helps you to fight the viruses. So hence the graph goes up, but that's for short period. If you're suffering for fever for 3-4 days, you can do your the virus can go away, the immune system works hard, it functions well, it kills every pathogen, and you're free from it. Whereas if you're suffering from chronic stress, that is, it is ranging from months to years, then your immune system is going to come down, and hence you will be susceptible to minor diseases also. Okay, next, health risk associated with chronic stress. So the chronic stress is something which is prolonged stress is called chronic stress. So what are the health risks associated with them? So prolonged stress lead to chronic stress. So these are the diseases which happen when you are experiencing the chronic stress, and now each and every one of us are experiencing chronic stress due to this pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, because we don't know what is happening. So what is future? Future is uncertain. Present, we are locked down. We are in our homes. We are missing all the fun, entertainment we used to have. We are missing our freedom. So we are encountering a chronic stress. So how we can come out of this chronic stress, we'll see. So some of the mental health problems such as depression, anxiety, and personality disorders are caused because of chronic stress. Next, there are many skin and hair problems. The hair fall is a It is one of the epidemic itself, including many number of people. They are having so much trouble with hair fall. They go for treatments, hair replacement therapy, etc. So why? What is causing you these things? That is because of stress. Acne is also the pimples you get. Those are also the response of stress. Lot of diseases like psoriasis, eczema, etc. are all because of stress. And also lack of vitamin D also cause this kind of thing. Hence, I suggest you to spend minimum half an hour of time in the sunlight so that you can get the required amount of vitamin D. So also there are many gastrointestinal problems takes place, such as acid refluxes, GERD, gastritis, ulcers, and irritable colon. Because this, as we have seen earlier, the long-term chronic stress will have effect on your digestive system. Your stomach produces more acid. When your stomach is producing more acid, the acid will come and touch your esophagus. So esophagus and everything, those things will happen as heartburn. That is also known as gastritis. Whereas the digestive system, if it is not functioning properly, then it causes irritable colon. So these are the health risks associated with chronic stress. And not to forget, we are the diabetic capital in the world. India is considered as. So diabetes and high BP also occurs because our heart beats faster, 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 because we are always engrossed in what will happen to me in future, or what will I complete in the time on time, or about my children, what happened to my children, how he is writing his exam, or will he get into a good position, will he get into IITs. So always worrying about things makes your heart beat faster, which eventually rise to high BP, and it eventually goes into strokes. So checking your diabetes and BP, blood pressure, is very important. So this is the description of the things. You will also get tension headaches due to stress. Your muscles get tightened, so hence you'll have neck, back pains, etc. You'll have migraines, tension headaches, all these things because of stress. The real disease is only smaller part, but these kind of complicated complexions occurs because of suffering from chronic stress, right from headache, depression, or insomnia, that is unable to sleep, heartburn, rapid breathing, heart attack, fertility problems, stomach ache, low sex drive, high blood sugar. High blood sugar is because of flight and fight system kicks in. Your body needs energy, hence the liver converts glycogen to glucose. So in your bloodstream you'll have more and more sugar. So even though if you are in the threatening situation, if you're running, so that energy is utilized, but you're not doing exercise, not running, not doing any asanas, so those things will build up into your body and makes your body weaker. Okay, I hope I'm clear. So stress and major psychiatric disorders. So these are physical disorders which I've seen, whereas stress also have some of the prominent psychiatric disorders as well. Some of them are panic attacks. The panic attack means you will not have any underlying disease, but you may feel that something is happening to me. My heart is pounding, or my head is just making myself dizzy, or I may feel that I may die now. Those are the things which happen when you are suffering from panic attack. Second is GAD, generalized anxiety disorder. Anxiety disorder is also one of the causes of stress is also one of the causes of generalized anxiety disorder. Short-term anxiety is okay, but long-term anxiety will not make the things easier for you. Next, post-traumatic stress disorder. So whenever you encounter a stressful situation, so those effects turn and make yourself susceptible to post-traumatic stress disorder. This happens when you encounter a stress, just like if a cyclone, you lost your house or something, for example. So that would be a traumatic thing. When you're sleeping, you feel that cyclone is coming, and you feel that even though it's not coming, you may feel that something dangerous is going to happen to me. Because once you suffer the stress due to the natural or some calamity, that is post-traumatic disorder. And coming to adjustment disorder, yes, this is also important thing, because once when you go from high school to engineering college, or from engineering college to work world, that is entire transformation. So you may feel some adjustment disorders. So the stress which kicks in due to the life changing scenario will enable you to get into adjustment disorders. Okay. Last but not least, this is the depression. Depression, the long term stress goes into depression because you feel pessimistic. Whatever you do not feel any pleasure because you feel something threatening is going to happen. Hence, it always be pessimistic and depression comes. So you should be very careful. And how using yoga, one can manage stress. In yoga, we have asana, pranayama, meditation, and also yoga nidra. So asana helps in strengthening our physical body. Hence, all our system function optimally. Okay. So the question before the thing is, can we eliminate stress? Can anyone answer this? Can anyone eliminate stress? The answer is no. We cannot eliminate our stress. We can only manage our stress, because some kind of stress is helpful for us, that we require stress, but that is for short term only. If it is for long term, which leads into chronic stress, it will create a lot of health problems, both physical and psychological. So next, we can only be resilient to stress. We can't eliminate stress. But how can we be resilient? It is with the help of yoga. So asanas helps in strengthening our physical body and keeps all our systems healthy. We have different kind of systems like nervous system, digestive system, musculoskeletal systems. So for keeping all these systems healthy, we need to practice asanas. So asanas helps in strengthening our body and make our physical bodies fit and healthy. Next, pranayama helps in strengthening our respiratory system and also helps in stimulating parasympathetic nervous system, because when you do deep breathing, it induces relaxation in you. So hence pranayama is most important for us at this present pandemic. So tomorrow we'll see some asanas and pranayamas. Next, yoga nidra. Yoga nidra is a systematic relaxation of each and every part of our body. So right from the cellular system, cells, right from cells to entire system of our body, we're going to relax each and every part of the body and mind. So hence, it helps in activating our parasympathetic nervous system. Next, meditation. Last but not least, meditation helps in self-acceptance. So some kind of stress could be like you might be suffering from some of the disease which you need to face lifelong. So for that, you need to accept yourself first. So acceptance comes. And once you go into meditation, you feel you forget about past and present and you only feel about the present moment. So that is also very helpful and useful for physical and mental health as well. So according to Yoga Sutras, the definition of yoga is Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga is cessation of modification of mind. Hence, the mind nature is to think about future, past, everything, etc. Whereas yoga asks you to do not think about those things. Only stay in the present moment. So by meditating, you will stay in the present moment. Okay. So hence, by staying in the present moment without worrying about either present or past events, you will relax yourself, and by relaxation only, you can manage your stress. There is no pill or there is no tonic where if you take those pill or tonic, you can eliminate your stress or manage your stress. Hence, yoga is very important for us. So thank you. This is the presentation I want to give to you. If you have any questions, you can ask me the questions now. After the questions are over, we'll do a small meditation, simple 5-minute meditation where you can feel the relaxation and experience yourself, the power of relaxation through yoga. So I'll check the questions. If there are any questions, I'll answer them. So do you have any questions? Harshita, you told that you will be asking questions. Harshita, I told you have 5 questions. Can you ask them? When stress should, I'm reading for all of the participants as well. So the question is, when stressed, should we divert our mind from the situation or think more about it to solve it? Again, the simple thing here is when you are stressed, you need to find out what is causing you the stress. If it is like if it is your examination, then you should try to think more and solve it because it's a short-term stress. It helps you in reaching your peak performance. So you should think and solve it. Whereas if it is a long-term stress, for example, if someone has a health problem, like if they have been diagnosed with diabetes from childhood, so you need to take insulin. If he starts thinking more and concentrating his energy on thinking why I'm suffering like this, there's no point. It leads to chronic stress. So hence the situation is also important. If you have specific situation, where like examination, or if you have a project deadline, then you need to think so that you can raise your performance to the optimum level and give your 100%, and it makes you more efficient as well. Whereas if you think about some of the things which you cannot change, for example, if you are preparing for CAT examination, where you scored some less marks in your 10th class, and feeling that I am here required this like 90%, whereas you scored only 70%, thinking about, oh shit, I cannot get into IMA, and feel sad thinking about it won't do any good to you. So hence, the situation context are very important when you face or when you see the stress. If some situations which you can take control and change them, or if you can handle them, or if you can resilient them, then you need to think about it and you can face them. Whereas if situations you cannot have control over them, there's no point in going deep into it. I hope I've answered your question. You can ask your second question now. Okay, how to identify the stress in ourselves or in the behavior of our closed ones. So first I'll talk about ourselves. So if we are feeling stress, I already told you, you will have increased heart rate. Okay, you'll have more thirst because you don't produce enough saliva, and so you'll have increased the thirst. Third, you're not able to concentrate on whatever task you're doing. Either your mind goes to future or it goes to past things. Fourth, whatever you do, like if you are eating or if you're eating good food, also there will be some digestive problems like indigestion or diarrhea, etc. So these are the subtle cues you'll have when you stress yourself. So the behavior could be you would be not open. The thing is, you would shy. You would not try to go and talk with others because you may feel that what they may think about myself. So you will be self-centered. You will be more introverted. You will not try to express yourself either with your friends, colleagues, or with your parents. So these are the things which makes identify that you are in a stress state. That is in long-term stress. For the short-term stress, we will identify. For example, if you're going for public speaking, when you go on to the stage, your hand shivers, your palms started to sweat, you sweat a lot. So those things we identify ourselves. Your heart started to pound, that you can hear your heartbeat. So those are short-term stresses. Those stresses you do not worry much. But whereas for long-term stresses, yes, those signals are very important. Our body is giving the signals. You'll have body pains, you'll have different headaches, etc. So that is about yourself. Whereas the behavior of our closed ones, you can see earlier they used to be happy, they used to share everything, whereas now they're self-centering. They're not talking much, they're feeling sad, they're feeling depressed. So when you feel all these signals, you feel that they are under stress. Also, they may not speak well, their voice gets low, they may stammer when they're speaking. So these are the things you can identify on others, one of your closed ones, so that they're feeling the stress. You can ask the next question. If we have a regular stressful job, how to improve our stress coping ability? Few simple tricks. So yeah, in our fast-paced world, we are obvious that we're going to face stressful life in our jobs or in our relationships. So how you can cope those things? The first thing is you need to be assertive. Assertiveness is saying no, which is not under your purview. If you are doing every work, working more than 8 hours, working 10 hours, coming on to the weekends and also working, that is, you're not assertive. You are investing most of your time on the work, less time on yourself. That will increase your stress. So being assertive is very, very important. Second, you should manage your time. If you have 8 hours of work, you should try to complete your work 7 hours, and some time you may get some ad hoc works, right? You need to try solving those work 1 hour further. So you should be very much focused on how you manage your time. Time management is very important. Third one is you should do any kind of exercise, not only yoga, any kind of exercise. Simple walking also helps in releasing endorphins, which helps in coping with the stress. If you can do yoga, pranayama, and meditation, these will help you immensely in coping because they activate your parasympathetic nervous system. So daily you are making your body ready to face challenges and not get affected by them. So hence morning if you do yoga and before sleep if you do yoga nidra, all the stress you have taken on the day will be eliminated by doing yoga and also by sleeping well. Night sleep is also very important. If you do not have good sleep at night, good quality of sleep, not the amount. If you sleep for 8 hours or 6 hours, doesn't matter. If you sleep continuously without any disturbances, that is what matters. So good sleep is also very important step in coping to stress. Okay, I hope I've cleared this question. And also we'll do simple meditation technique after your questions, and you can inculcate that daily also. Whenever you're feeling stressful in your job, just close your eyes and do this technique, and it helps you to be stable and more resilient to stress. So next question, please. Okay, so I hope I've cleared all your answers, all your questions, and gave you the clear answers. So now we'll quickly go for a simple 3-step meditation. First step is you should have your, yeah, sure, Harshita, try to implement it so that you can have a stress managing life where you can manage your stress well, and so that you can enhance your health and well-being. Okay, so now we are going to do 3-step meditation process, where the first thing is we need to sit erectly, that is our back straight, neck straight, and hands on our lap if you're sitting on the chair. And then just stay in this posture for a few seconds, and we'll chant Omkaram for thrice. When you chant Omkaram, you should chant A U The makara should take longer than A U. So I'll chant once, you observe it, later you chant along with me. First inhale deeply. Okay, now you can chant along with me. Inhale deeply. Again inhale. Now the final round. Inhale deeply. Now observe the silence. Now the second step is you should focus on your breath. If any unwanted thoughts comes, don't pay attention to your thoughts. Just simply shift your attention from the thought to the breathing. Just do the simple inhalation and exhalation. Do it for 10 rounds. One inhalation and one exhalation counts as one round. You should inhale deeply and exhale deeply with complete focus awareness on your breath itself. Now try to do the rhythmic breathing. That is, I'll count 5 numbers, inhale for 5 numbers and exhale for 5 numbers. For example, I'll just count now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in this 5 numbers, you need to inhale deeply, and again I'll count 5 numbers, you need to exhale deeply. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So by doing this, you are doing a rhythmic breathing, hence you are enabling your parasympathetic nervous system. You're putting your body under rest. Okay. Now inhale deeply for 5 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now exhale deeply. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, inhale deeply. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now exhale deeply. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, inhale deeply. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale deeply. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, inhale deeply. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale deeply. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now without my instruction, try to do it for 2 rounds. Inhale and count yourself. Exhale and count yourself. Now simply close your eyes. Do not do forcible breathing. Just observe your breathing. Focus on your tip of your nose and observe your breath. How the cool breeze is going inside your nostrils and how your chest is expanding, how your lungs are filling with air. And once when you exhale, feel how your lungs are contracting, your chest contracting, your ribs coming down, and the air coming out of your nostrils. Observe your breath. Watch your breath. Feel the relaxation. Now with inhale deeply and chant Omkaram. Om. Now fold your hands in the Namaskara Mudra close to your chest. Now feel that. Now feel that the entire world you're thanking the nature for the survival of yours. You're thanking your nation for this wonderful nation you have. You're thanking your friends and your family. And last but not least, you're thanking your parents for giving you this wonderful life and all the comforts. Now inhale deeply and we'll end with the prayer. Om Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. May all be happy. Sarve santu niramayah. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. May you see that all are well and healthy. Ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. May never be subjected to any disease, illness or unhappiness. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. So slowly rub your palms, place it on your face and eyes. Relax your face and eyes. Slowly open your eyes, look at your palms. Release your hands. So this is the simple meditation technique. When you are stressed, you can try doing this. It takes hardly 5 to 7 minutes. So I hope you had a good session. Thank you for attending this session, and I thank Consult Living for giving me the opportunity to present my knowledge and share my knowledge with you all. Thank you. Namaste. Yeah, you can leave the webinar.